Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Bataleon Goliath. It got a little bit of an overhaul with a new shape this year. This board features Bataleon's medium camber, which is just traditional camber from contact point to contact point. It's not an aggressive camber and it's not a mellow camber, it's just sort of that middle of the road. That's going to give you all the load, pop, snap, and drive out of this board. Now out at the tips you also have 3BT with sidekick technology, so that scoops out the nose. This is going to help with powder float, and it brings in the drive from way out at the contact point closer to underfoot, so you get more ankle steering from it. This board is available in 153, 156, 158 wide, 159, 161 wide, 164 wide, 167 wide. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that was overcast with sun poking through, and as the day went on it started heavily snowing. You had chop chunder, average temps at the start of the day, colder temps as the storm actually rolled in. There was a little bit of ice, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. Surprise, surprise, this has a middle of the road all mountain freestyle flex. It's a directional twin, so you have a slightly softer nose, and I mean it's ever so slightly softer than the rest of the board. Kind of stiffens up through the middle and stays that way all the way back to the tail. The torsional flex is noticeable, but it's not so overly abundant that you're just going to end up twisting the board. When it comes to stability, yeah, you get a little bit of chatter in the nose and it slightly resonates underfoot. In choppy terrain, I never really got super bucked around. Keep your knees bent a little bit, you'll be totally fine. But whatever was in front of this board, I never had to worry about it. It was just gonna cut through everything and keep on going. With this board having that medium camber, you have to load it up, roll back on the tail, and it will snap. Now, it's not the snappiest deck that I've been on, but it's consistent. You never have to worry about popping off a roller, boosting a side hit, or just launching off anything in front of you. And when it comes to jumps, small, medium, large, you don't have to worry about it at all with this board. It wants to get in the air. You can be laid back, let the lip throw you, or you can load it up and you're gonna pop a little bit higher and go a little bit further. Basically, it's a consistent board when it comes to hitting jumps or boosting a side hit. With this board having 3BT and sidekick, it's a little looser out in the tips, which helps with you not catching an edge and dying because, well, no one wants to die when they're buttering. Although there seems to be people out there that just constantly do this. Don't be one of those people. So what you do get is a nice sweet spot in the tip and the tail that you can lock into. While this board is a little bit stiffer than middle of the road, it's not so domineering that you've got to fight it. You just have to know how to butter. If you don't, well, time to learn. You get your weight outside the binding, you press into it, it's gonna lock in. It's still gonna retain some of that snap, and you're gonna be popping out of whatever you do. Now, when it comes to jibbing, this board can jib. It locks into presses, it holds them well. You wanna be in the center of that 3BT, and you can really just press into it. It's gonna hold that press to the end, and then you're gonna be able to spring out. When you go sideways, there's enough give through the camber that it cradles itself around the feature. You don't have to worry about it. It's gonna get the job done. The edge-to-edge power transmission with this board is quick, fluid, and smooth. You notice right away that it's just got this nimbleness going from toe to heel. And when you really crank a carve, driving your knee into the center of the board, pushing off the tail, you get that extra power to really lay it over and then pop out of it and continue on your way. Short, tight, quick carves, medium, mellow carves, and long, hard, drawn-out carves. It can do them all. The one thing to note is you do lose a little bit of edge bite out at the contact points. It brings it back underfoot, so you're doing more ankle steering. So if you're one of those people that understands this, you're not gonna have a problem. If you're one of those heavy-footed riders that throws all your weight to the front of the board and then drives it from the back, you might have some issues with it. Who's this board for? The all-mountain freestyle guy. This felt like a board I've ridden 100+ days. I got on it, it was just consistent. It loaded up the way I wanted to, it was easy to engage on edge. Overall, it just had this familiarity to it that just made me go, wow, it's my first time on this new shape, and it still feels like a board that I've ridden all season, which is awesome. I love boards like that. The 3BT isn't so defined that this board is super loose. It's there to help you when you need it. You notice that in POW, and you notice that with the edge-to-edge power transmission as it moves from that contact point back in a little bit. It makes it just a little more smooth. Overall, great board. Love the new shape on this thing. It was a very, very solid ride. Comparable boards, the Ride Shadow Ban, the Yes Standard, the Jones Mountain Twin. Binding recommendations: the Bataleon Astro ASIM, the Ride C6, the Now Select Pro. This has been my review of the Bataleon Goliath. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.